وَاتَّقُونِ يَا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. So have taqwa of me, O people of intelligence. The wise and intelligent person knows with certainty that al-arzaq, that sustenance, قَدْ فُرِغَ مِنْهَا, and it has already been decided, it is said and done. What Allah has decreed is said and done. There is nothing from the hirs of the haris, and from the desire of a person who has the most ardent desire and want for the things of this world that can change what Allah has foreordained. It has already been written. It has already been decreed. قَدْ فُرِغَ مِنْهَا. It is already said and done and decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says فُرِغَ مِنْهَا, and it is done with. It already is what it is. It already is what it is, but that is what Allah knows, and that's the knowledge of the unseen that only Allah knows. As Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, He says, وَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا. That no soul knows what it's going to earn tomorrow. You don't know what you're going to earn tomorrow. No person knows what is out there for them. So the person they do is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, أَنَّكُمْ تَتَوَكَّلُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ حَقَّ تَوَكُّلِهِ لَرَزَقُكُمْ كَمَا يَرْزُقُ الطَّيْرُ تَغْدُو خِمَاسًا وَتَرُوحُ بِطَانًا. That if you were to put your trust upon Allah with a true reliance and trust, Allah provides for you like He provides for the birds. They go out in the morning with empty bellies, and they come back with full stomachs, able to provide for themselves and for their offspring. And so, a person who puts a tawakkul upon Allah, لا يقعد في بيته, he doesn't sit in his home saying, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has foreordained for me is going to come to me. Is going to come to me. But rather, he takes the means. وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْتَغِلْ. However, he doesn't preoccupy himself and make that غَايَةُ حَمِّهِ, and his greatest concern and the thing that he is worried about. Worrying about your wealth is not going to change anything. Being sad or depressed about what you don't have, being mukta'ib, is not going to change anything. It's not going to make you any richer. Worrying about it, staying up late at night, losing sleep about it, destroying your health about it, it's not going to change anything. Rather, the person they know that everything is in the hand of Allah, and so they take the means. And the means are of two types. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala mentioned. The means are of two types. The means of jalb al-arzaq naw'an. There are two categories of things that bring about sustenance for the person. One type is ma'nawiyya, and the other type is hissiyya. One type are the spiritual means. And the other things that we are mentioning, like putting your tawakkul upon Allah, having ar-raja, wa-tama' fi fadlillah, having hope and having a high expectation for the kindness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Knowing that everything is in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yu'tihi man yasha, He gives what He wills to whom He chooses subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so a person, they take those means, and they take the spiritual means, like praying salat in the masjid. The Prophet said, ثَلَاثٌ ضَامِنٌ عَلَى اللَّهِ. There are three people that Allah has guaranteed that if they die, they will enter the paradise. And if they live, that they will be provided for. And one of them is a person who is coming and going to the masjid for the salat. The person who is coming or going to the masjid for the salat. Most people, they think that going to the masjid for the salat will take them away from their money. The Prophet ﷺ, Allah has guaranteed through His Prophet ﷺ that you are dhaminun ala Allah, that Allah has guaranteed for you. And who is a better guarantor than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you will be provided for. Likewise, from the means that are found in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ for jalb al-arzaq, and from the spiritual means is al-umrah. Al-umrah, and likewise al-hajj. Al-umrah and hajj. Likewise is giving in charity. Giving in charity and helping the Muslims. These are all things that bring about the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with all that is meant by the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you have the physical means. Learning how to work harder or work smarter and not harder. Right? And these are the physical means. A person, they know that by upping the ante and having a skill set for themselves and having the means to make wealth, having capital, all these sorts of things, pulling resources together, trusting other people, all these things. Some of them are because trust is a spiritual thing, right? It's a religious trait that is at the core of Iman. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا إيمان لمن لا أمانة له ولا دين لمن لا أحد له. There is no Iman for the person who is not trustworthy, and there is no deen for the person who has no ahad, who doesn't abide by his agreements. So that is something from the core of sustenance. We mentioned before the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Al-bay'an bi khiyar ma lam yatafarraqa, fa in sadaqa wa bayyana burika lahuma fi bay'ihima." That two people in a business transaction can back out of the transaction so long as the transaction has not come to a conclusion. And so long as they have not made the agreement and this one has taken what he has been paid and that one has taken his product and so on and so forth. If they are truthful and clear, bayyana, and they make tabyin and clear, transparent, as it relates to the contracts and all the awsaf connected to, they're selling something, if there are any uyub that they must divulge, that there are flaws in this thing, and if there are things that can happen that are normal, commonplace things to happen, and everything that is connected to what people need to know. And if they are like that, بُورِكَ لَهُمَ فِي بَيْعِهِمَا, then barakah will be given to them in their business transaction. Barakah will be given to them in their business transaction. And so, the Muslims, they spread Islam to the ends of the earth. The vast majority of people who accepted Islam in the earth today, Muslim nations, and they were open up by way of tijara, open up by way of business and trade. Not standing armies, not conquest, so on and so forth, but by way of people doing business and trade with the Muslims. By way of people doing business and trade with the Muslims. So this is how the Muslims were blessed. And with business acumen and with intelligence and how to make their money, that sort of thing. How, as the great Imam, Al-Allama, Muhammad Al-Amin Al-Shinqiti, rahimahullah ta'ala, he has a section in his book, Adwa al-Bayan, his tafsir of the Quran, where he mentions the principles of Islamic economics. The principles of Islamic economics, and he says that they go back to two things, and each of these two things has two things. And it is how a person earns their wealth and how a person spends their wealth. How a person earns their wealth and how a person spends their wealth. So there are two things connected to each of those things. The first is that how they earn their wealth is the most advantageous way, yani that which is aslah, the best way to earn your wealth, that you look for the best means in the world today, what is available of technology and resources, so on and so forth, skills and trades and that sort of thing. It's the best way to earn your wealth today. As a person, he aspires to be a garbage man. That's good. Get a union job. You can retire on that. You can live comfortably on that sort of thing, right? There's another person, he wants to sell incenses and oils and thinks that he's going to be able to raise a family on that. You say, that's not the way to take the flock, ya Sa'ad, right? There's a line of poetry. We're not talking about anybody named Sa'ad here, right? The poet said, and that's not the direction that you take the flock of camels, ya Sa'ad. The scholars, they say that for, you're going in the wrong direction. You're going in the wrong direction. And so, a person, they look at that which is most guaranteed to bring them, as we said, wealth, with, it says of working harder, working smarter. Working smarter. So a person, they look at the skill sets that are necessary to make a lot of money, they take consultation, they do all those sorts of things, and they consult with somebody who knows about those sorts of things. If you want to go into a field, talk to somebody in that field before you start an academic pursuit and want to go into a career. You need to find out if that thing is actually profitable, and before that, we should have mentioned the other thing first, because the other thing takes precedence. Because before you can move a muscle, you have to make sure that the way that you are earning your money is halal. That is halal. That's the first thing. And then do what is anfa'. Do what is anfa'. And you find the way that is most beneficial. The way that is most beneficial. And the same applies to how you spend your money. Be frugal in how you spend your money. Don't be a person who is self-victimizing themselves in a consumer society, spending their money frivolously, that sort of thing, because you don't know. You may be making a lot of money now. It may come to an end very quickly. A person, how many people, how many from amongst our communities were making good money right before COVID hit? Everything was gravy. It was a gravy train, right? And things came to a screeching halt. You don't know what will happen. Alhamdulillah, if we've learned anything over the last few years, it's unpredictability of life, right? The unpredictability of life. And so, the person knows that you must, and how you earn your money, how you spend your money, and you earn your money in ways that are halal, spend your money in ways that are halal, and earn your money and spend your money in ways that are most beneficial. Right? And the way, as Shinqiti rahimahullah ta'ala alludes to the fact, the way that is most beneficial to spend your money is a way that makes more money. You gotta spend money to make money. You gotta spend money to make money. Right? So this is from the core of the teachings of Islam.